Hello there and welcome to this week's episode of the Flip Flop Family Podcast. I'm Xylene. It is always great to be here. As you know, it truly is my favourite time of the week, and I hope you have had a wonderful week. Hope there hasn't been too many bumps in the road. I hope it's been smooth sailing. The weather, once again, has been a bit up and down, but still very mild for this time of year, so we definitely can't complain. We are well and truly in and literally at the end of September. And it's strange because when you look at the calendar, of course, we are in the latter part of the year. But for me, September feels more like a natural reset. You know, kids are back to school, roads are getting busy again, just that vibe has returned. You know, there's a bit of shift in routines. I mean, we as a family have had a little look at our routine now that kids have settled. We know what days they have clubs on, what days they have other extracurriculars, and we've been able to establish sort of a routine. We have like a Monday routine, a Friday routine, and then a different routine Tuesday to Thursday. I know everybody's family do things differently, and I must admit that I'm always curious about families' routines and how they do things. You know, it's a bit like, you know, that program Wife Swap. Sometimes I just think it'd be quite cool to be like, to do like a parent swap, you know, and just go and see how other families do things and learn from each other and see what works and what doesn't work. I mean, for us as a family, we have tried lots of things, again, because Ben and I have differing ideas at times, or we did things differently growing up. And I think you tend to pick the good things about your childhood and do them with your kids, but your partner may not often be on the same page about it. And one thing Ben always says is, why do the kids not get out of their uniform straight after school? And the funny thing is that I used to get out of my uniform straight after school, but the kids tend not to until they have their shower, which is generally sometimes before dinner, sometimes after dinner, but sort of more in the evening. And I can kind of understand why that might be a bit odd to some people. Like, I know in some families, kids come home from school and they have showers straight away. But yeah, it's just, I find it really interesting to see what other people do and how you do things. But I guess now that we're coming into the end of September, most routines are settled. You're getting sorted. And, you know, I think it's important to look at the next 3 months, the last quarter, let's say, of the year, as a bit of a mini new year. And at New Year, what do you tend to do? Firstly, you reflect. And I think it's really nice to look back at the last 3 quarters of the year and to really just think about what have been the greatest things of this year so far, and maybe thinking about what you thought was going to go differently, or what really made you smile. What was the highlight? What was the low light? What did you do this year that you perhaps always wanted to do and you have done it? And if you haven't, you still have time to put it on the list before the year ends. Today, I actually went back and listened to the manifesting episode. The Power of Manifesting is what it's called in the Flip Flop Family podcast. And I listened to it because I felt like I needed a little reminder. I was really strong on manifesting, and I still am. But as with everything, you can get caught up with life and find yourself not manifesting in the way that you should be to achieve your goals before the year is out. And I just really enjoyed listening to it, and it prompted me to do things and reminded me to make sure that I'm really clear on my path and what I want to achieve and where I want our family to head. And I just think it is so important to just stop your busy lives and to have a little reminder, have a little reset. You know, like I said, think of all the things that you want to achieve. I went and had dinner with a friend, well, our family went and had dinner with our family friend a couple of weeks ago. And I have to say, I was just so proud of her and so amazed, because we're both on the same page when it comes to manifesting, and we often have those kind of talks. And she has just managed to tick off and achieve so many things. And I could just see it in her, like in the way that she was moving and talking and in the things that she has been able to tick off. And it was from manifesting. And she was saying how she does sort of, or recites positive affirmations in the car in the morning. And although I advocate for that and have spoken about that, I haven't actually done that myself. Like, I've written things down, I've definitely visualized and thought about things a lot, but actually saying them out loud on a regular basis, I haven't done. And I can see in her how powerful that has been for her. And I'm just so happy for her and her family, because there is things that they've been wanting to achieve for quite a while and they haven't been able to. But I feel that by her manifesting and just setting her sights on those goals and just letting go of all the things that have held them back, have basically made it happen. And it's just a really beautiful thing. And it just made me want to stop for a minute and reflect. And I'm really proud of us as a family, as we have released nearly 60 episodes of the Flip Flop Family podcast. We started in January. It's September now, 9 months in, and I feel like it has gone from strength to strength, and it has organically evolved into what it is. And we're just so thankful to you as a listener for continually listening to our podcasts and for being a part of it, because that's what makes it real and that's what makes it worthwhile. It's funny because one of the things that we did this year, which really turned out terribly in comparison to what I thought was going to happen, was when we did a road trip to Cornwall and we had a camper van. And if you've listened to that episode, you'll know all about it. But in our minds, we had planned for this amazing trip, but sadly everything went wrong, from the tire busting on the camper van to the weather changing and to me falling ill and having to come home early. But now, 5 months on, I would actually say that that trip was probably one of the highlights of the year. Because it's funny, isn't it? When things go a bit pear-shaped and you have a gazillion stories that you can tell about something, it just brings you so much joy. Like, we actually had a lot of fun, even though all those things happened. We did create some really amazing memories, and it was fun to be on the road together. It's just while we were actually doing it, sometimes it was quite challenging. But I almost feel like you have to go through those times to then really enjoy it and just get on with it. What made you smile this year? What would you say was a personal win or challenge for you? Why not think about your own highlights and lessons that you've learned over the last 3 quarters? I just can't believe there's only 3 months left of this year, and there is still so much that we want to achieve as a family. But I think it's important not to try and cram in lots of big goals as the year comes to an end, as there is a lot coming ahead of us, especially with Christmas, and as the days get shorter and darker, it almost feels like you can't get as much done in the day. But I think just by trying to finish the year with intention and kindness, and just think about small steps, not massive reinventions, will make you feel really good by the real new year. I'm going to set myself some intentions, I think. And one of them is going to be to finish our outhouse, a never-ending outhouse, by the end of the year. I want to prioritize rest, like build in some rest into my day. I think because I work from home, so I'm sitting down a lot, I don't really, once I finished work, I just get up and start doing loads of stuff. And I don't think about rest a lot, but it's so important to have a moment. And I think that is something that I'm also going to do. And lastly, just spending more one-to-one time with each member of my family, as everybody is just evolving and changing and growing far too quickly. Why not think of your own intentions for the next 3 months? Maybe it's to play more board games with your kids, or treat yourself to some self-care like a massage or a manicure. For the mini new year, October to December, why not think of one thing to continue, one thing to let go, and one thing to begin? That's definitely some food for thought, and something that I am really going to think of too. With routines in full force and life already moving super fast, I think the end of the year can really fly by, and you can just end up doing the same thing every day. But we could live out the next 3 months with real intention, and by writing those things down, maybe on a sticky note on your fridge, or maybe in a journal, or maybe on a massive whiteboard, or even by practicing those positive affirmations and saying out loud what it is that you want to achieve, we could all get much closer to our goals of achieving what we want by the end of 2025. Habit is so funny. You can get into good habits and bad habits so easily, but you can also drop them if you really want to. last week I had gone a bit crazy in Sainsbury's and I had bought a lot of chocolate because it was on offer. And I was like, oh, it's really good to have these little mini bags of chocolate for when when the kids go to the cinema and we want to grab a snack. But I've pretty much eaten most of the chocolate that we've bought. And it's so funny because I haven't had a lot of chocolate in ages. I used to be obsessed with chocolate, but as I've grown up and found healthy alternatives and been making nice little sweet treats out of like dates and oats and things like that, I haven't really been eating chocolate. Because I'm the main person that does the groceries, I just don't buy the stuff, because if I buy chocolate and if I buy like sugary cereals and all that, it means that we're all going to eat it. So I just don't. But because I ate loads, and it's so funny how I've become a bit addicted to chocolate again. And I keep thinking, oh, I'd like a little bit of chocolate. And I go and have a look in the fridge and look in the cupboard and there isn't any. So it just shows how you can very easily fall into bad habits. But you can just as easily get out of them. So if you have developed any habits like a bit of an obsession for chocolate, now's the time to try and drop it, as of course the new year is ahead of us, and that is generally when we end up eating way more than we should. On the Flip Flop Family Kitchen Instagram page, I have loads of recipes on there for healthy snacks that you can make, which are very easy and can actually keep in the fridge or in a cupboard for quite a while. So why not check them out? My date bars are definitely up there with some of my favorite snacks I've made. And today I went looking for dates thinking, oh, I'll just make date bars. But I didn't have any dates, so they're on the shopping list. Talking of bad habits, Ben and I have fallen into a bad habit of binge watching as well on Netflix. We haven't watched a good series in ages where we've been a bit addicted, but one to watch on Netflix is something called Wayward. Check it out. It's about a school for sort of juvenile delinquents, and it's a series. I don't want to tell you too much. It's kind of got cult vibes, but a really good watch. And when the other day, Ben and I think we watched maybe 3 episodes in a day, like 2 in a row, and then, no, 4, 2 in a row in the afternoon. And can you imagine, in the afternoon, Ben and I watched 2, and then we watched 2 in the evening, which is terrible. Like, I enjoyed watching it at the time, but I don't even want to think about the amount of hours it stole of my day. And my day felt really weird after watching that much TV, because we just don't normally watch that much. So it was so strange. But again, these habits, as soon as it gets a bit darker, you just want to chill and watch TV and eat chocolate. And there you go. That's just a recipe for disaster. But if you'd like to have something to watch on Netflix, maybe don't binge like we did. Check it out, Wayward. Now, you know that we are chicken lovers and we do love a cheeky Nando's. And I think there are many people probably listening that also do love some peri-peri chicken. So I have a great savvy tip for you. As with everything, the cost of eating out just continues to rise. So if you do like a cheeky Nando's, head over to Costco and buy your Nando's gift card vouchers from there. So you can buy £100 worth of vouchers for £85. Yes. So you are getting 15% off, and then you can use those vouchers in Nando's. So you're basically saving 15% when you buy your dinner. My song of the week, looking back at the last 3 quarters of the year, has made me remember an artist that is so fun-loving. Her name is Lizzo. And the tune of the week has got to be Juice, just because it reminds me of fun times. Like Emiliana used to sing this tune and do the dance, and it was just hilarious. So check it out. Juice by Lizzo is my song of the week, and you can find all our songs of the week on the Flip Flop Family Podcast Song of the Week playlist, which is on Spotify and on Apple Music. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Flip Flop Family Podcast. We are available on social media. We are also available if you'd like to comment on this podcast, wherever you're listening to. You can click on the ring bell and it will tell you every time we release an episode, which is every single week. And we are on Instagram at the Flip Flop Family. We'd love to hear from you. Do comment, do share, do get involved and be part of the community. Remember, we are about to start a new month, a new beginning. You can have a new mindset, a new focus. It can be a new start with new intentions that will give you new results. Don't underestimate how much change can happen in the next few months. It's time to get serious about your goals, and I hope that you achieve them. I'm Zylene, and I look forward to talking to you again on the next episode. Bye bye.